I'd say I'd probably get sued for that.
Welcome one, welcome all. I am Sven GreyGo0se and with me is my lovely co-caster Elthizar, and we're going to be covering a rank game from the upper gold to lower plat level. We're almost into the game here as the champions have already been picked, and we're going to see how this game will develop. So, who do you think, team composition wise, has the upper hand during the early phase of the game?
Early on, I would say that because Lee Sin is a massive kind of presence throughout the early game, he's very, very potent, that there's going to be a bit in favour of the red team in this game. But when it gets to team fight stage, there is definitely a very, very potent component available for blue. They've got the flag and drag combo, and that can also be stacked up with a shockwave before Jarvan utilises his cataclysm, which is always incredibly strong. If you keep 4 people, well, potentially, three at best, technically, because if an entire team was pulled into a cataclysm, then of course Fizz could use Playful Trickster to escape, and then Lee Sin could utilise Safeguard to Fizz to escape the ult as well. But flashes could be used and the such like. But it's still utilising a lot of abilities just to try and escape that area.
Very much so, as we see both teams more focused towards the lower half of the map, the red team simply securing their own red buff. And one thing that I'm really looking forward to in this game is going to be the Galio in the top lane, although we may have a lane switch incoming, but that's definitely something you do not see often, not around this elo, as the red team may be looking for a catch here, all stacked up in that river bush, waiting for someone to face check even close to that. The blue team is having none of that. Orianna safe in the mid lane, Galio even further back. Thresh exploring a bit in the bottom half of the river. As Lee Sin may move forward here, we may see an invade on the red, and this could be very, very dangerous for the blue team.
Yep, in the meantime though, Thresh did manage to get down a ward up near the blue buff of the red team. That's going to definitely give some key vision in the early stage of the map. It does look like, however, the red team are going to back off and pick up the blue buff, and Jarvan pretty much shutting down any potential for an invade by dropping a standard into that Thresh.
Thresh now going in for the face check, just gets a hit on to the Vayne. Yeah, Lee Sin tried to check that bush with his Q, and Jarvan was able to see that spell animation, so he knew that people were around, put the standard into that bush, thwarted any further aggression as Thresh may be looking to get a steal here. He does land the hook onto Lee Sin. Lee Sin forced to smite that, so he doesn't have the smite up anymore. May give a little upper hand here to the blue team, who knows, but I do not believe that Jarvan will actually be looking for an invade there.
Nope. Buffs picked up as standard. Jarvan, I've seen as a fairly standard thing, Jarvan starting at red buff. Lee Sin, not quite so standard, starting at blue, I would say, but we are just going to settle into lanes as per the normal. Galio got to lane a lot faster than Wukong, so the lane is already pushed up. Does have a minor farm disadvantage, actually. I'm surprised Galio is actually down on farm to Wukong in this early stage of the game.
It often happens that if you're trying to really fast push a lane, you miss a couple of CS simply because you try to do as much damage as possible, and then sometimes the spell timing misses as a hook lands onto Vayne. In the bot lane, nothing much gonna happen after that though. Still level 1s there, so they didn't have too much to follow that up. Jarvan now looking to make the first gank happen in the top lane as Wukong is pushing forward. Jarvan actually moving around to the red. Lee Sin already has that. Wukong goes in on the top lane and they're trading blows as Leona engages in the bot lane.
A lot of poke going down to Galio in this top lane. Wukong getting very favourable trades. As I said, both junglers are present at this, so we might see the first battle, or first true battle of the game, happen in this top lane. As Jarvan goes in, a lot of damage going down to Wukong, forcing the flash. Lee Sin actually flashes past Jarvan, lands the Q onto Galio, first blood goes down. Will he escape with his life? It's very possible. Yes, he burns the safeguard onto Wukong, and they wander out, first blood secured.
Beautifully done there. It almost looked very, very bad for Wukong after he went in onto Galio, and Jarvan was there from the counter gang as the hook lands onto Vayne. This may be maybe a kill. Just gonna be able to walk away with his life after flashing and using that barrier to escape.
Very large advantage going in there. Looks like Lee Sin is going to try and get in onto Orianna in the mid lane.
For now, we do have a massive farm advantage in favor of Corki. He's 20 CS up to Vayne's 8. Vayne really not able to do much, got hooked twice in the early game. Thresh doing a huge amount of work there with very spot-on hooks. and it's definitely given the blue team the advantage here in the early game. It will be...
Yeah, it's very critical in the early game to try and shut down a Vayne, because she becomes such a late game monster that you, well, need to try and take those small victories where you can.
And it's very impressive too against a Leona, who's generally regarded as a very engage-heavy champion, a very dangerous champion, especially so in the early game. As Vayne is going in again. Corki almost got himself caught there, didn't want to take the Lantern. Now in the top lane, we see the trades going back and forth again. Jarvan in the mid lane though.
He's taking a lot of damage. He does have his Playful Trickster up, and he's going to burn it to get back to his tower. On very low health though, so he is going to be forced out, as the blue team will push up this tower. Lee Sin, however, does come from the jungle to make sure the tower takes not a massive amount of damage. Rush actually gets a vision ward down in the river brush, but isn't able to clear the site ward that has been placed by Leona previously.
For now, he's just alone because Corki isn't there, and the main thing he has to take care of now is not to die, not to get engaged on by this Leona Vayne. Give up a free kill, because that could be devastating. You do not want Vayne to get any free kills. Just try to stall the minion wave so they don't want walk all the way into the tower before Corki gets there. Jarvan now, maybe looking for a gank here.
He's definitely been seeing Leona and Vayne backing straight off. Actually, Lee Sin coming through the blue side's jungle.
Jarvan now standing on top of that. We're just going to clear it out. Lee Sin's still waiting in the backline though, so we'll have to see if anything more is going to happen. After this, he's going. Jarvan is going B. As Lee Sin seems to decide he'd rather gank the mid lane, turning around again, going for that bot lane. Can't really decide. He's wasting a lot of time here, just in between lanes basically. This could also hurt him a bit if he's going to fall behind because of that. But he's gone for the Vamp Scepter early on, very aggressive build. Definitely wants to make some early plays happen, and he may get to do so here.
Very good play going down, a lot of damage. Thresh might fall, no, he gets back just before the third frog of Silver Bolts finishes his life. Jarvan shows up to try and dissuade against any further engagements.
Now, lane normalized.
He goes in again, actually. Corki taking a lot of damage, but so is Leona. The flash out, multiple people. Jarvan picks up the kill with the flag and drive combo, gets condemned into the wall, but that's more of a disengage. Actually, as Lee Sin goes in with the barrier from Corki, pretty much perfectly timed, saving his life. Jarvan still playing very, very aggressively. I'm not sure if that's the best course of action against Lee Sin in a Vayne, though.
Yeah, Corki had already backed off, and now Wukong, after pushing his lane out, is roaming down towards that mid lane. Is going to go in here. Fizz uses his ultimate. Playful Trickster coming in. The Ignite went down, and a lot of damage onto Orianna. The Shockwave missing completely. That's going to be a very nice kill onto Fizz. Also one of those champions you do not want to feed more than necessary, because they do snowball out of control very, very quickly.
Yes, Fizz is a very tricksy character to try and face in a lane. He has so much escape and dodge potential coming from his Urgent Strike and Playful / Trickster abilities. Meanwhile, on the top lane, Galio is just farming out. Still doesn't have a massive farm lead though, despite Wukong's roaming.
Wukong did a great job shoving his lane into Galio's tower when Galio had gone back, and that really enabled him to make that roam happen. There's a lot of aggression in that bot lane. Leona in a little bit of trouble there. Will manage to escape though, but that again forces Vayne and Leona back, and Corki just 5 CS up on Vayne for now, but with Vayne forced to go back yet again, picking up that Vamp Scepter now, it may give a little bit more of an advantage to the blue team's bot lane. If we look at the scoreboard, it's 0-0 in towers, 500 gold in favor of the blue team, as Galio actually using his... Yeah. Keep going, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Wukong does fall. He did actually dodge the Resolute Smite coming out from Galio, but he just ended up basically taking him down with that Bulwark on him, regaining health every time Wukong engages back again. Fizz also taking a lot of damage in the mid lane. He's going to fall to that Ignite, giving Orianna a kill, and that middle lane is going to get pushed out. Lee Sin currently taking his red buff, so could come down to try and defend. In the meantime, bottom lane, Corki taking a lot of damage. May actually fall at this stage. Yes, he does, but Vayne's incredibly low. Barrier is burnt, though.
Ooh,
actually dodges the death sentence. Thresh still very much attempting to get that kill, but I don't think he's going to be able to get it. No, he is not, as Vayne and Leona fall back.
Vayne just took a tiny amount. Corki just took a little bit too much damage right before Thresh came around there, but Jarvan with a very nice dive from behind the tower, picking up a kill there.
What people don't realize is that Cataclysm is actually a wonderfully good damage nuke. And Vayne actually saying in the chat, "How did I die, WTF?"
That is very true. Probably wondered a bit there. Also using the barrier and the flash in the end there. In the mid lane though, that kill onto Fizz was really crucial for Orianna that had already given up a kill to Fizz. Fizz tried to do the same thing again, but this time Jarvan was there to thwart any further aggression and actually turn it around on him, picking up a kill for Orianna there. Now the Sight Stone is finished for Thresh. That's probably going to give him a little bit of vision dominance in that bot lane and also making a bit beefier against the hyper aggression from a Leona lane. As Lee Sin is moving up to the top lane, and we'll see if Wukong is getting caught here. The ultimate comes out of Wukong. Galio gets caught
as well, but it doesn't look like he's actually going to go for the dive. He decides to safeguard onto Wukong. Not actually sure. They could have gone in onto Galio there. He did not have Idol of Durand up.
I'm pretty sure they were scared that he did. Probably not too good on the cooldowns there, but if he had had it, that could have been terrible for them. But they're still both hanging around that top lane, and Jarvan now moving up there as well. We'll see if that actually develops into a 2 versus 2 in the top lane. And now that Idol of Durand is up, that could actually turn sour for the red team.
Yeah, Jarvan just staying off in the wings, seeing if the red team are going to be willing to try that dive. Yes, they are. Kick goes down, actually interrupts the Idol of Durand before it was popped.
Beautiful kick there. That was really crucial for both of them escaping this. But Jarvan isn't done yet. He wants to chase a little more onto Wukong. Lands a flag and drag as Wukong flashes
Beautiful
away.
Flash there. Fizz and Orianna both coming up to join this fight. It's turning into an absolute brawl at this stage. People
Wukong
looking like
have
they're
it.
starting to back off right now. Cataclysm actually going down onto Lee Sin, taking a lot of damage right now. He does die to the command shot, no, command attack, command dissonance. However, Into the Waters lands on Orianna, taking a lot of damage. She falls, decoy meaning that Wukong gets out with a good portion of his health. Jarvan misses the flying drag thanks to the Urchin Strike, and is now in a bit of trouble. He's very low on health and lacking cooldowns. There goes the playful task Trickster. Fizz may fall. No, he does not. Wukong able to finish off. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, trades galore as Corki falls to the tower despite his barrier. Vayne also fell, 1-for-1 in bottom lane. However, the Thresh is going to be forced to back off. And Leona is still fairly healthy, actually.
A lot of things going very back and forth there. Interestingly enough, Corki would have actually survived that if he had not taken the lantern to get out of that. He could have just moved into the Tribush area behind the tower and been safe, backed off there. But he did go to Thresh. His barrier did not last long enough to eat that additional tower hit, and he did go down for the 1v1 trade, 1-for-1 trade. But that top lane thing did end up actually going in favor of, not sure if anyone really, because it's 6-7. The red team already had a 1 kill advantage beforehand, and now they're 400 gold ahead. Don't want to go for that dragon though. They know that the blue team is closing in on them. Jarvan checking that dragon pit with his standard over the wall as both teams back off from that again. And now Fizz though, 3-1-0, is going to get scarier and scarier. He already has the Sheen, the Blasting Wand, and 2 Doran's Rings. He's nearing his big power spike. He's nearing getting that Lichbane, which is when the Fizz really becomes a true terror and can 100-0 many of the squishier carries.
That was a very good play from Fizz actually. He managed to evade the flag and drag and the command attack dissonance by playful doing away from the engaging blue team. Vayne getting poked a lot by Corki at this stage. It's past the level 6. It means that Corki just can poke straight on away. He does have mana potions, meaning that he can keep on chugging and keep on shooting missiles.
Lee Sin waiting in the back wings though, and Jarvan isn't quite down there yet. We're going to have to see if any engagement does develop out of that. It could get very, very dangerous for Thresh and Corki there. Leona looking for the aggression here, warding up the river bushes, and Corki's just going to back off, go home, and buy his items. Blue buff probably going to be given over to Fizz within the next minute. Orianna does not have hers, and their blue buff should be due to spawn soon though. Jarvan knows that this is happening, and in the end, Lee Sin actually stole that blue buff. So Lee Sin and Fizz both have blue buffs. And beautiful catch.
Command Shockwave landed perfectly there. That was a great usage of that. Double kill picked up, and now pretty much a free dragon. They do have the bottom lane combo of the red team coming across, but it would be a 3v2, and they would have to choose their engagement very, very well.
Thresh taking a lot of damage already, puts down the box. To thwart any further aggression, Flay comes out, and now with Corki here, the Ignite goes down onto Vayne. Corki doing a lot of damage to Vayne very, very quickly. The Solar Flare goes down, is going to thwart, prevent Corki from actually getting in onto Vayne. Nothing, yeah. God damn it.
Oh, that was a very good command attack coming out.
Corki flashing forward, then using the Valkyrie, and then the command attack came out, picking up that Leona on the back there. Beautifully done by the blue team. They were actually a kill behind. Now it's 9-7, and they're 1,600 gold up on the red team, and they may be able to get this tower down here. Doesn't look like they actually want to go for it, though. Thresh could get caught out here. He's sitting in a warded bush, and Fizz is moving down there for him. Did barely manage to get out of there. If Fizz had used his fish to try and interrupt that, it would have probably been a dead Thresh. But he was lucky, managed to get out in time. Vayne just gonna farm that bot lane. Top really developing into a standoff kind of. We haven't seen too much action within the last 5 minutes up there. The focus was rather on the bottom half of the map, but now with Lee Sin up here, Galio could be in a lot of trouble.
Once again, the Idol of Durant gets absolutely countered. Ignite goes down, and Galio's gonna fall in a almost trivial manner. Lee Sin is timing his Dragon's Rage perfectly. Every time Galio attempts to use that Idol of Durant, he gets kicked away before it actually has time to take effect.
And that's really, it's crucial when ganking a Galio to manage to interrupt that right on time. And it's impressive that they manage this time and time again. And really, they're rewarded with a kill every time they manage this. And I haven't seen...
Engagement going down in the middle lane. It's mainly poke, but Fizz is going to get a bit of damage onto Orianna and then back off, evading the command attack, command dissonance combo. Corki better be careful at this stage, actually. There you go, condemned straight into the wall, taking a lot of damage. They're going to this blade combo, gets stunned again, and absolutely nuked down. Nothing Thresh could actually do to help there. The lantern was there, but Corki just didn't have time to press it.
Yeah, really, when you get caught out like that as a Corki against a Vayne Leona so much lockdown if the condemn also hits you into a wall. There was really nothing to be done there in order to escape that. He was out of position, got caught by that combo. Sadly, no word in the lane bush. Thresh maybe could have done that, as we may see an engagement in the mid lane.
Fight going down, a lot of damage going down as well. Wukong picks up Orianna, but Jarvan is just going to try and make good his escape, but Leona shows up as well. Cataclysm goes down, but it's going to be in vain. The 4 members of the red team were just trapped within him and basically putting himself to his death.
Nothing much to be done for him either. He didn't have his flag and drag, he didn't have his flash up, so he couldn't get out of that, and Galio doing the only sensible thing, trying to push that top lane as much as possible before Wukong gets back, trying to do a little bit of tower damage, but Wukong is going to be back in time in order to save his tower. But a nice amount of damage going down there, so the next time Wukong wants to roam, Galio will probably be able to take out that tower, but now, for now, he has to escape from this Wukong, who's looking for blood. Is just going to back off, though.
Wukong actually going the wrong way there. I'm not sure if he actually wanted to engage, but a little misread perhaps, and the poke continues.
Wukong winning out on the trades generally, and then both of them are fairly low. And then Lee Sin comes in order to finalize those kills with a Dragon Rage, always perfectly interrupting the idol, the ultimate out of Galio. So Lich Bane now finished on Fizz. That's a huge power spike. He also got the Sorcerer's Shoes, so he's really just a huge threat right now. He's not even that far. He's only 30 CS behind Orianna. As a melee character against an Orianna, you usually expect to have a larger CS deficit, but he has 4 kills to make up for that. Orianna has 3 as well, but that only she's not as much of a burst champion. She cannot single out a target and completely delete it from the map. As Jarvan down in the bot lane for a gank.
A lot of damage going down to Vayne. She's going to get nuked. The ult goes down onto Corki, but Leona is going to get chased down, I think. She flashes away towards a tower. Hook does not land from Thresh, so the blue team can just push out this tower. I mean, Orianna did just pick up the first tower of the game in that middle lane thanks to her minions. and it does look like Wukong and Lee Sin are going to try and push up top. So this is basically going to be a tower trade.
Question is, can Thresh and Jarvan get another tower in the bot lane? They actually go on to Leona. Might pick up a kill here.
Cataclysm goes down once again. People not having their flashes up. In fact, Leona burned her flash to escape that fight. As Fizz comes in, a lot going down, goes down. Chumble Waters lands onto Thresh. He's tanking so much damage actually, and the hook lands, but he's probably still going to fall. The Urchin Strike comes through. He's now going to try and fight Jarvan, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen. Flying Drag combo does not actually land the knockup onto Fizz, so he's going to remain on low health. He's still being very, very aggressive, however. As Corki comes in, Flag and Drag not going to land as Playful Trickster occurs. Vayne now stood at the tower, give her the duty of defending it now passed to her.
But with Orianna and Corki down there, there's not much she can do. This tower will surely fall against this increased pushing now. And more items being completed here. Wukong has this Maw of Malmortius, has had it for a little while now, and it's really what's been enabling him to trade evenly with Galio. The extra magic resist doing a lot of work for him, and it looks like he's going to go towards that Trinity Force. Just picked up the Phage. Both the junglers have the Spirit of the Ancient Golems done, but Jarvan already has that lock-in of the Iron Solari as well, which is really going to help his team, especially against the AoE damage coming out from the red team. Vayne has her Blade of the Ruined King done, the first step to the huge powerhouse that Vayne can be in the late game. Once she picks up the Phantom Dancers as well, she's going to be even scarier. Corgi has his Trinity Force, and that's going to help them shred down this dragon right now. And I'm not sure if the red team can do anything to contest this. They're 2v4, and they're just going to give this up. Nothing to be done there. Thresh has an Oracle, just clearing out the vision, as another very important item finally picked up on Galio. He finally has that Rod of Aegis on top of that Warden's Mail. That's going to make him tankier over the next 10 minutes and give him more AP as well.
Engagement going down, Lee Sin flashes straight after it. He actually flashed and then safeguarded, which is maybe a little bit of a panic move there. Looks like this blue team are going to try and push onto the middle lane. There's only 3 of them at the moment. Jarvan's trying to go off to one side as Corki comes up. They would manage to get caught out as the fight begins. Wukong trying to come in from the side, decides against it actually, then goes in, out goes the Cyclone. Thresh gets absolutely melted. Command Shockwave going straight into the Idol of Durand at that stage. A lot of damage still going down. Jarvan trying to finish off Lee Sin. Can he do it with the standard swag? No, he can't. Finishes instead with the Dragon Strike. And the Resolute Smite coming out from Galio to finish off Leona. That actually ends the fight as a 2 for 3 in favour of the blue team. Wukong trying to escape as well. But the blue team are going to be more than happy with an inner tower, I think.
Vayne stayed in the bot lane throughout that entire engagement, just farming up a bit. Has now finally overtaken Corki and CS numbers. Wukong maybe thinking about going back in here, trying to pick up the kill onto Jarvan. Looks like he decides against it, and that's going to be an inner tower picked up for the blue team. Very nicely fought there. The shockwave into the Idol of Durand was beautiful. That really made the fight happen there. It got 3 members that were originally outside of the Galio ultimate into the taunt. And it was just crucial for that fight to swing in the blue team's favor. So we look at the scoreboard now. It's 3 towers, 2-2. 2,500 gold lead in favor of the blue team, as the kills are actually 14-14, dead even there. And it's really going to depend on each team making the moves here. Lee Sin and Leona probably not communicating perfectly. Both of them actually building an Aegis of the Legion. Galio tanking a lot of tower hits up there, but is going to be able to take up that tower finally. Thresh roaming all around the map, clearing a little bit of vision everywhere he goes. As now both of the teams try to reposition themselves with Dragon down. No immediate objective for either team to be grabbed on the map, aside from Baron, which is not really an option at this point in the game. And now
no one has the particular advantage. I can imagine a Baron being feasible if a really good catch is made. For example, if the blue team can catch out Lee Sin, or if the red team can catch out Jarvan, and then the lack of presence of a smite is definitely a contributing factor to say, okay, we're on decent health, they don't have smite, let's do Baron. As long as they maintain decent ward vision, or decent vision rather. But at this stage, that means that the advantage is for the blue team, because Thresh has got that Oracle's Elixir at this stage. Leona does not.
Precisely, and he's already been clearing out wards as much as he could. and already picked up quite a few of them, as we may see another engagement in the mid lane. Corki's still down, getting his red buff though, so it's not going to be too good for the blue team to engage on this just yet until he gets there.
Yep,
Looks
currently
like
a 4v5. Corki is going to head up the middle lane to join with his team. Vayne actually slinks off to the side to pick up some wolves for herself, slowly solidifying a bit of a CS advantage.
definitely, and she's already got the zeal slowly moving towards those Phantom Dancers, and once she has this beautiful synergy between Silver Bullets, Blade of the Ruined King, and Phantom Dancers, she has so much crit chance. She has those Silver Bullet procs to just chunk even the tanks for huge amounts of damage. So the blue team now moving into the jungle, they may be getting caught out here, as this is more likely the red team's turf. Vayne sitting in that bush waiting for someone to face check it, and here's the engagement. Not quite yet. Red team
Fight not quite going down, wards being lobbed here and there, vision being thrown across as well. Thresh still with that Oracle's Elixir, trying to deny as much vision for the red team as possible.
Galio stuck around in the mid lane, pushing that wave out as Lee Sin now actually getting caught. Takes a good chunk of damage and is going to have to back off. This is going to give the blue team the advantage they wanted. They can just move over to the mid lane and try to get a bit of damage in onto that inhibitor tower. Jarvan.
Engagement goes down, Flying Drag lands onto Vayne, but it's not an engagement as Jarvan decides, nope, teammates aren't there just yet. We're actually going to back straight off, and we're actually going to cycle top lane.
Which is a very good choice. Really, the bottom lane is pushing against them. There's nothing much they can do there. The inhibitor tower is very hard to fight against with that Fizz, as the hook lands onto Fizz, and this is going to be the engage.
Cataclysm goes down to Vayne, she instantly flashes straight out of it. This is a very, very here and there fight. Orianna is only just coming in for the blue team, so blue team are more than happy just to try and put the tower. Cyclones goes down, but it's not really effective, as the Idol of During lands as well. Lightning Dragon comes down again. The fight is very, very mishmash, I suppose is the way to say it.
It was a shame because the rest of the blue team was too far away, as Ithelas on his Galio flashed forward in order to land that idol, as we have another engagement now.
Yep, damage going down, missile barrage is coming across, but once again it seems to be mainly a poke engagement. The Chum of Waters almost lands onto Orianna. I think Fizz is being a little bit zealous actually.
That, if it had hit, that would have certainly been a kill for the red team. Now, the minion wave on the bot lane is going to be defended off by that tower as the blue team decides to go back, as Corki could get caught out here by Lee Sin, is going to make it out safely though. And it looks like both of these teams, Galio actually still very out of position.
Vayne has activated that on the activated that final hour. Galio actually utilizes the lantern from Thresh. He may still survive yet. Wukong still chasing. Two in the mid lane may actually get cycled around onto by Fizz as well. Very good use of Flay there by Thresh, denying the use of the Nimbus Strike. Fizz actually coming around onto the side of this Galio and Thresh. Hook lands, actually.
There's
Galio
nothing much to be done.
Running, however. I definitely think that Thresh should have kept running. Not Thresh, Galio should have kept running. He stopped trying to fight Fizz. Fizz was on full health. No way did he have enough damage to try and sustain himself.
I agree.
Was evidently on cooldown.
I also think that Thresh landed the hook more for the stun component of the hook rather than actually trying to fight Fizz in that situation. And this is now going to develop into currently a 2, soon a 4v5 standoff in this mid lane. So red team actually decides we are just going to back off, pick up Dragon and our own blue buff, and then see what we can do with the newly gained advantage there. Jarvan, just over the wall though, has a standard dance, so they know about this happening, but he can flag and drag now that he already used both those skills. He's going to face check into Wukong, and here's the engagement.
Cyclone goes down again, that lands on 3 people. Out comes the box from Thresh, a lot of damage still going down. Cataclysm goes down, but Jarvan has been caught out on his own, so rather gets finished off by the resonating strike from Lee Sin. And that was actually a 1-for-1. Fizz going down in favour of Jarvan, that's almost, I would say, a benefit for our blue team.
Definitely the Cataclysm, beautifully done by Jarvan there. It really kept 4 members completely out of the fight, as Galio now, all by his lonesome, is caught out here. May still get a kill onto Lee Sin. Trying hard to happen.
Wait for the Righteous Gust maybe. He lands the single basic attack, but Lee Sin is still evading it. Single basic attack from death, gets finished off by the Resolute Smite. But Galio is now getting cycled round. You've got Vayne, Leona, and Wukong there. Very
Really,
tanky now though. And
he's
once again follows the lantern back to the tower.
thank God he already has that Randuin's Omen plus the Rod of Aegis. That's the only reason why he was able to survive all of that, able to take so much damage even from the AD carry, thanks to that Randuin's Omen. He also used it in order to slow down Lee Sin to pick up that kill. Very nicely done there by him. As now both teams moving around to the dragon again. Thresh with his oracles and a couple of pink wards, clearing out all the vision that there is. This is going to be the go signal for the blue team. They have 4 members here. There's nothing the red team can do. Orianna just going off to farm the top lane, saying, I don't even need to be down there. My team can handle themselves.
Major items coming out on both the mid laners right now. Fizz picked up Ferala's Crystal Scepter, which will definitely give a nice boost to his survivability and damage and chase down potential thanks to the slow component. Orianna has that Rabbidan's Death Cap though, which means her damage is now going to rocket.
Yes, and she's already building towards Asania's Hourglass as well, has the Seeker's Arm Guard completed, and is looking to build that as soon as possible. But as we are saying this, Vayne finally has picked up the Phantom Dancers. Now she is a true terror. She will attack much faster, has extra movement speed, is going to be harder to catch out, and will just do so much damage to whoever she decides has to die. Orianna picking up her blue buff as we may see the red team now pushing down on that mid lane. The outer tower is still standing, the only outer tower of the game to still be alive. It's 5-2 in towers. It's time that the red team grabs some of these advantages because they're slowly but surely falling behind. It's now over 5,000 gold in favor of the blue team.
It's the fact that the cycling, the blue team for example, taking that mid lane, then heading towards top. When a fight went down, it was very, very rushed from the red team. No kills actually came out of it. As a matter of fact, red team looked like they were trying to cycle around to get Corki, but very good ward coverage from Thresh basically denies that. Actually, Jarvan actually getting engaged on a lot of damage going down. Jarvan's still alive though. Actually falls to the Urchin Strike, but Vayne is very likely to fall. Actually, she doesn't. She flashes back through as Corki falls. The Thresh now incredibly low. Falls as well. That was an incredibly good flash coming out from Vayne. He did actually fall in the process, however.
Very nicely done by the red team there, though. Getting the rest of the team into that fight and able to, in the end, come around with a 3-for-1 exchange, only losing Vayne, picking up 3 members of the blue team, though, and this is going to give them the advantage they needed in order to shove down this middle lane. There's no way that tower is going to survive, even with Galio and Orianna there.
Yeah, Galio's still trying to defend very vehemently. Actually utilizes the Idol of Durand in a very short notice. Fizz is going to escape with next to no health. Stun. The solo player lands onto Galio. Galio very, very determined to try and get that Fizz, but you're exhausted, mate. That's not going to happen. Randuin is used, as is the Locket behind Solari. He's basically just being worn down over time. Orianna actually gets jumped on. Very good use of the decoy. However, Wukong is now incredibly low. So is Lee Sin. Lee Sin's going to fall after the Cataclysm comes down. Jarvan now trying to chase down onto Wukong, but I think Wookie's got just about enough health. He actually goes a little bit iffy when he tries to utilize that decoy. He ends up in the middle of nowhere, kind of neither here nor there, gets caught out. Condemn tries to stop people from going onto Vayne, but Thresh flashes through, lands the blade. There it is, the Oracle's Elixir on Thresh, so that stealth it means next to nothing. Vayne actually getting absolutely shredded right now. Wukong going to be forced to back off with very little health, and Fizz is going to be forced off as well.
These fights are so sloppy from both teams, not just a single team, but both of them messing around a little bit. People getting caught out all the time, as now it's Jarvan's turn. Does manage to take the lantern, and does manage to escape. Is Corki now in trouble?
Corki is likely to fall. The flash does mean that he's going to escape for a little bit of time, but the Nimbus Strike is going to pick up that kill. Fizz now following, trying to kill Thresh. Thresh does burn the exhaust and the lantern, but he's slowly getting poked down. Leona comes in, and Thresh does fall to the Urchin Strike.
Incredible fights here, just so back and forth here and there, each team grabbing an advantage, then giving it away again through bad positioning or someone getting caught. They don't back off when they needed to, and in the end, now it's 19-23. The gold, however, is still in favor of the blue team. They've got 5 towers down, the red team only has 3. But if this keeps going, Fizz now 11-4-3 is such a terror. Vayne is getting stronger by the second. Now in that bot lane, farming a huge wave of minions. all for herself. And if this keeps going, I'm not too sure if the blue team will still be able to defend against this onslaught of very powerful champions. Wukong also only getting stronger. He's got the Trinity Force finished. He's got a Giant's Belt now to make him beefier. He's got a Negatron Cloak to withstand even more damage from Galio and Oriana. He's 6-1-9. And with the exceptional engagement that the red team has in the form of Leona, the Chum the Waters ultimate from Fizz, the Nimbus Strike plus Cyclone from Wukong, and then the Lee Sin to go in there and kick someone backwards into his own team. Really, the only way that the red team can mess up big time right now is if one of them gets caught out in a very, very bad position and the blue team capitalizes beautifully on it. But in team fights, if not 3 or more members get caught by the Idol of Durand and the Shockwave, the team fights should be swinging in favor of the red team simply because of team composition and items.
Blue team decided to back off after going close. It means that it's starting to push against them. Thresh trying to ward, but he may get caught out. I think he's more than wised up to the potential threat to himself, and is going to head back into the middle lane. Galio actually trying to steal some raids, but decides against it as the red team are nearby. Fizz and Jarvan have a little exchange of fisticuffs, but no real damage going down.
Jarvan did manage to take away that blue buff, so that's very nice, not being on Fizz, not giving him the extra cooldown reduction. Fizz also building towards that Zhonya's Hourglass, has the Seeker's Arm Guard done, and is going to be looking to finish that as soon as possible to let him jump into the enemy team, use that Zhonya's, and let his team follow up to do even more damage after he singles a target out as he catches Corki in the jungle.
Absolutely nuked. There was nothing Fizz going to do. From the Waters finishes and absolutely decimates him.
And that's really the danger at this point of the game. Corki splitting off there was not a good idea. There was no vision on Fizz, and Fizz is one of these assassins that can just 100-0 a carry, as we just saw. He basically took out Corki with a single combo. And now it's going to be the blue buff of the red team, the blue team taken away. Fizz going to be happy to pick that up after his own one was stolen away. And we will see what the blue team is going to be able to do against this onslaught of the red team that they have going now. Jarvan and Thresh going into the jungle. Thresh maybe get caught out here by Vayne.
Vayne getting caught out a bit, but the fact was that the red team were actually going for that inner tower in the top lane, so real damage is not being exchanged just yet. Fizz comes in, now the damage starts to go down. Cyclone finishes off Jarvan. Galio now caught in the middle once again. He's very, very tanky, but I'm not sure if he's going to survive. No, Fizz is going to come through with the Urgent Strike once again. Galio's going to fall. Fizz now just an absolute monster.
14-4-3, and the gold difference is getting smaller and smaller. It's now just 400 gold, and now that Galio and Jarvan, there's no smite on the blue team. The AoE taunt is gone, and this is going to be the signal for the red team. Go, take that Baron down as fast as they can, and grab the extra advantage. Even the Chum the Waters used just for extra damage onto Baron. Bot lane is pushing towards them, but they're just going to go back, defend their base, and then rush out as 5 men and try to do as much damage to the blue team while they have that Baron buff in their favor.
Red team pinging in somewhat of an attempt to try and finish off Corki, but no, I think he's learned his mistake from the last time he was caught out.
The last Whisper is finally done onto Vayne. Really, the only item she needs now to make herself nearly invincible in these team fights is going to be a Guardian Angel, just so she can come back to life if she does go down. Corki also trying to get there. Only has the pickaxe and the longsword, though. Doesn't quite have the gold to finish up that item yet. Red team going to pick up that dragon. I'm not too sure if there's anything the blue team can do about it. Thresh is moving around there, though. Nope, not anything gonna happen. Another uncontested dragon for the red team. They've picked up a couple of these now, and the gold advantage is now 2,000 in their favor. Is Corki also
in the middle lane, but they actually decide against going onto him. Galio is just way too tanky at this stage. He's got the Athenian Holy Grail for the man resist. He's got Rod of Ages, health, mana, extra ability power. He's got Randuin's Omen, health, armor, and that brilliant active and passive.
Very much so, as Vayne was down in the bot lane pushing that minion wave, has now joined the team in the mid lane, and we'll see if any major engagement could happen here. Ward clearing going down on the side of the mid lane. Is now a huge stack of minions in that bot wave. Vayne's work clearly showing there, and it's going to force members from the blue team to react to this and walk down there, and as soon as someone's going to be seen, Jarvan now down there, but Lee Sin decided to push the top lane. If he had been there, maybe this could have been the signal for an engagement. Vayne stealing away the red buff though. Gonna be very nice for himself.
Over the wall. Hook couldn't land onto him, however.
Nice.
The blue team at this stage are just kind of content to sit there and try and push the minions off that middle tower. But an engagement may happen very soon as Vayne gets caught out. We do have missile barrages going down again and again as Vayne falls. That's a very big disadvantage to the red team, and they may have to fall back of this. However, Wukong is now sat there trying to push down that middle tower, but there were no minions there. Fizz gets caught out. The hook does not land as Fizz tries to run behind that inner tower. And fights just keep going forward and forward. Flash following into the Idol of Durin comes out from Galio. Both Leona and Lee Sin are going to fall. However, that mid tower is going to finally die. But however, it is Wukong and Fizz against a full and fairly healthy blue team.
It was another beautiful shockwave, a beautiful Idol of Durin, and really, the blue team's fighting there was so far superior to the red team's. Vayne thought she could catch Jarvan out in the jungle, got Jarvan pretty low, but then the rest of the blue team joined and just took out Vayne very, very quickly. This left the red team with very few options, as Thresh almost taken down by Fizz, but not quite enough. The hook lands as Wukong goes in.
Yep, Cyclone dealing a lot of damage. Fizz is going to go off to the side. The exhaust being next to naught as Thresh gets absolutely chunked. Vayne is now back alive, so it's a 3v3. And I'm pretty sure the blue team do not want to engage on this. However, the Trembling Waters does land onto Orianna. Orianna doesn't have Zhonya, so she is just going to get chunked. Wukong now actually has a Guardian Angel. He is going for that sustain over the damage for now. He is dealing a lot of damage anyway. He is 6-1-12 and has very good farm.
Yeah, the blue team thought they could pick up an advantage here, push down one of the inhibitor towers, but they took a little bit too long. The spawn timer not long enough on Vayne. She was back up, and Fizz and Wukong so powerful at defending that push, defending that tower with the Cyclone and the Fizz ultimate afterwards to finish Orianna off when she was trying to run away. It's going to be another
split pushing now, takes out the inner tower in the bottom lane.
Very nicely done there by Wukong. So now the red team cycles around, is going to pick up that blue buff. We're 42 minutes into the game. It's 3,500 gold in favor of the red team, 22-28 in kills, as Galio not able to defend his team's blue buff.
Wukong trying to 1v1 this Jarvan, but I don't think it's going to go well for him actually, as Galio comes around, Flash is burned, but gets caught in that by the Cataclysm. Wukong going very, very low indeed. Still has that proc from more Mortius, however. He is finally going to get the Guardian Angel procced, but by this time, Lee Sin and Leona are nearby. Wukong's still going to fall though, I think, even though the Cyclone deals heavy damage. Wukong is going to Lee Sin is going to flash over the wall as Leona lands a stun onto Jarvan as he attempts to try and make a follow through. Jarvan does follow up, however, but red team looking like they don't really want to fight at this stage. Vayne pushing bottom lane. Fizz maybe coming in right now. Looks like he has picked his target of choice, which will be either Thresh or Corki, but he can't get onto them at this stage.
Baron is back up in 1.5 minutes. Vayne's still down in that bot lane. However, the blue team is backing off. 3 members of the blue team trying to get there in time as the Gabrix actually gets cut out here.
Jarvan very likely to fall at this stage. Orianna is still trying to escape. Fizz does manage to evade from the waters, does get those command dissonances, so she should be able to increase the distance between herself and Fizz. Fizz does actually flash, does get onto Orianna, and that Paralyzed Crystal Scepter means she is constantly being slowed down. Command Shockwave goes down as well, but she's still going to die to the Fizz, and there is now an open inhibitor in that bottom lane for the blue team. The inhibitor tower did fall to Vayne as she was split pushing the lane.
Vayne doing a beautiful little goose chase there, having originally 3 members of the blue team running after her, and she still survived. That Blade of the Ruined King active, giving her such a nice movement speed boost that enabled her to get out of that. But Jarvan, with no health left, manages to get into that Baron pit, and now Leona is going to be thwarted by Galio. Jarvan also doing a rather interesting chase there throughout the entire top half of the red jungle. Beautifully done by him to actually survive that. I had given him up long ago, but managing to get that flag and drag into the Baron pit just in time. No way for the red team to follow that up. The final items are coming out though. Fizz has the Zhonya's Hourglass stun, Orianna with the Void Staff as well. So many big items now. Lee Sin has picked up a Bloodthirst and wants to do more damage. So Wukong tries to get in onto Corki. Corki just Valkyrieing out.
Poke lands on Fizz, actually. Fizz does Playful Trickster out, but he's taking a lot of damage. He's been to half health. Channel Waters does miss as Wukong had been exhausted. The chase down is on, but blue team decide, I'm not going to bother.
Both Baron and Dragon are back up now. Dragon about to fall in favor of the red team, but Fizz here gets another hook in his face, and that was truly death sentence this time around. Corki picking that up, and this is going to be the go signal onto Baron for the blue team as Vayne again down in that bottom half of the blue jungle, probably trying to backdoor that inhibitor while the rest of the blue team goes for this Baron. Nobody is going to be able to stop her either.
Wukong goes in with the Cyclone, lockdown going down to Corki. He does not have Guardian Angel at this stage. However, Idol of Durin completely negates that. Wukong is going to fall. Yes, he does. Corki picks up the kill now on a rampage. Vayne, however, is going to take that inhibitor in the bottom lane. Fight for Baron is still on, though. There are wards being placed all over the place by the red team. Down goes the inhibitor. Vayne probably unable to keep pushing, but very good distraction play. Lee Sin does get hooked, comes over the wall. Lee Sin is not going to be able to steal that. Manages to go back over the wall, but only gets Cataclysm in his face. Corki is now trying to 1v1 Vayne. Not exactly the smartest thing I've ever seen someone do. No, down goes Corki. Vayne's still alive on fairly decent health, and the blue team just aren't able at this stage to chase onto her.
And that was even a Corki with Baron buff is now in the bot lane. A lot of blue team's minions trying to get there. The first wave of super minions is coming in though, so that's going to thwart some of that aggression. As we look at the gold now, and it's only 1,500 gold between these two teams. The blue team did pick up the Baron, but there's an inhibitor down in the bot lane for the red team. So really, this game can still go either way, and it's at 46 minutes. This is such a tense game. Both teams trying to grab every advantage that they can, but the team fights most of the time being very split, and neither team really able to get a clear advantage out of it and just decide to fight for themselves and then finish up the game on the back of that.
More and more items coming out. For example, Thresh has now got Locket of the Iron Solari, that shield globally useful. Galio has Banshee's Veil, meaning that he can resist the first spell that comes towards him in a team fight. We also have Corki picking up the Mercurial Scimitar, I think just before he died actually. Which is, I'd say, an interesting pick. I would definitely say that it's much far preferential to try and go for Guardian Angle first. As the fight goes down, Galio does land the Idol Druid onto 3 people. Fizz has utilised Zhonya's and then uses the Playful Trickster, but gets instantly followed up onto by Jarvan. Damage going down, Fizz is going to fall to Orianna. 17 and 6, this Fizz is still a very, very potent threat. However, Vayne now has that Guardian Angel. She's sat on Blade of the Ruined King, Phantom Dancer, Guardian Angel, Last Whisper, and a BF Sword, which may well be an Infinity Edge with full stack of the damage through the room. Blue team now going to try and push onto this middle lane. Wukong goes in with the Cyclone, but damage isn't actually massive. Wukong has got his Guardian Angel up, Leona is going to fall. Wukong's Mortius has been popped. He's still trying to fight, but he flashes out just before his J gets popped. He does by the red buff. Lee Sin goes down as well. Vayne now comes in. Corki trying to follow onto her, but Vayne flashes into her base. Wukong almost falls. Nope, Vayne gets the GA popped. Still pushing onto this tower. Jarvan's likely to fall actually to the Vayne. No, Guardian Galio able to finish that off, and as well, Wukong's still alive. However, Corki has just not been able to finish him off. Those decoys have been absolutely perfectly timed, dodging missile barrages, and however, blue team aren't able to continue that push as the minions are pushing onto their base.
The top inhibitor tower almost going down, is going to go down actually to the minions. That means the second inhibitor is now exposed for the blue team. They picked up Baron, they fought very nicely. Fizz getting caught out there, and Vayne was not with his team, and in the end, all the items that Vayne may have are no good to her if she's not in the fight and not able to make use of them. But the minions saving the day for the red team, pushing in onto the blue team's base, doing so much damage there, almost took out a second inhibitor. and of course one of the two crucial Nexus towers, so that's going to make finishing the game a little bit easier for the red team here.
I'm tempted to say the red team should go for some sort of backdoor attempt. Vayne has done it twice already. If they could try and trick the blue into another Baron fight and send Vayne to the base with some minions, you could very easily finish off this game if the blue team isn't being particularly astute.
It's going to be very, very dangerous for both teams in these next couple of fights. We're nearing full builds. Vayne and Orianna only missing one last item. Corki and Fizz, the same deal. Everyone trying to get that last item in there, trying to make the last little bit of difference. And in the end, the reason that Corki got the Mercurial Scimitar is because there is so much lockdown from the red team. That Leona, if she gets onto you with any of her stuns, it can instantly spell death for you, and that's something that's not allowed to happen for Corki. It looks like he's going to pick up the Guardian Angel on the back of this. There it is. Now Corki is the first person in this game at full build. And as we are nearing the full builds, the gold is actually bang on even. It's 72,900 to 72,900 gold, 6 to 9 in towers, 30 to 31 kills. It's about as close as a game can be. But there's an inhibitor down for both teams, an inhibitor exposed in the top lane for the blue team. And really, once both teams have the full builds going, it's only going to rely on positioning and who makes the first mistake, who makes the first misstep, and which team can capitalize on the mistakes the enemy makes. Fizz now splitting off in the top lane, Lee sitting back a bit, and this is going to give them a nice little bit of an advantage with an inhibitor exposed in the top lane. Having that top lane pushing for you is a huge advantage for the red team, because it's definitely going to force a lot of attention from the blue team up towards that top lane. Baron is going to be up.
Galio does go to clear that top lane. Red team are going towards that dragon as well. Blue team are still focusing on that middle lane. They do not want to lose this crucial mid. Mid is very often considered to be the most important lane, especially the outer tower of that lane, because of the fact that it gives so much potential for roaming between the jungles and the river, that resetting the lane to closer towards the enemy team's base is very, very beneficial.
And in the end, having the super minions in that lane for the blue team is definitely an advantage in their favor, as Dragon was picked up by the red team and Baron is up in 1 more minute. That's going to be the next big focus and really probably going to be the decider of this game. Depending on which team comes out ahead on that fight, is it going to be an uncontested Baron due to having to defend an inhibitor, or is it going to be a huge skirmish where everybody goes down, or what's it going to be? But it's definitely going to make a huge difference, as the inhibitor has respawned in the bot lane for the blue team. It means no more super minions to threaten their base, and this could be the winning edge that the blue team has been looking for so long now.
Vayne and Fizz now on full builds. As I said, Vayne picking up that Infinity Edge. Her damage is now astronomical at this stage. Fizz has that Void Staff. Now his damage is through the roof as well. Orianna not quite finishing off. We don't know what that Negatron Cloak is going to go into, but Jarvan actually trying on an engage, going a little bit far out actually. However, the red team are now separated. They could try and make a push at this stage. Vayne is just going to do the wise thing of it and back straight out.
Going to be looking
the wall. There's the clear target at this stage. All the damage going down. Fizz is getting very low. Zoni's is popped. Cyclone goes towards Corki, but isn't able to do enough damage. Galio gets kicked away. Orianna is the first to fall, followed by Wukong. Fizz is the first to fall, followed by Orianna and Thresh dying as well. A lot of chase going on to Corki. Corki is getting out just about. Jarvan and Galio still stood together trying to pick off Vayne, but the damage just is not there at this stage. Jarvan is probably going to fall. Galio gets caught by the Zenith Blade, going to get stunned most likely, as Vayne is still chasing. That damage slowly chunking down Galio, and he actually falls to the resonating strike of Lee Sin. Jarvan just able to escape, and Corki backing out to his base as well, with very little health after that fight.
Thank God that Corki and Jarvan survived. That's the only straw that can now save the blue team. That fight was clearly in favor of the red team. It was a 3-for-1 exchange, only Fizz going down for the red team, as Jarvan actually stuck around in that bot lane, is trying to push a little more. Only Leona back there to defend it. That's definitely going to thwart the push from the red team here. They may turn and go for Baron, though, seeing that Jarvan is still down there with so little HP. And really, in the end, the reason that fight went so much in favor of the red team was because nobody touched Vayne. She was at almost full HP and did so much damage to everyone on the blue team. Now, Thornmail picked up for Galio, and this is going to be a free Baron in favor for the red team. Nobody there even close from the blue team to threaten that completion. This is going to make it a lot harder for the blue team now to recover from that terrible team fight that they just had. They just lost a team fight, and now there's Baron on the enemy team as well. Makes it even harder to come out ahead in an engagement like that. Vayne may get picked off here, but Corki is going to be safe, though, with Fizz right there being a threat to Corki. He's not going to go in.
I think Corki was just basically trying to be a little bit of a pain and interrupt the recall. There was no way he was going to be able to burst down Vayne. She had her Guardian Angel available.
However, taking off that last life of any champion at this point in the game is definitely worth a lot. If Corki or Vayne get their Guardian Angel pop, they cannot use that in the next big team fight. Same goes for Wukong, who still has his as well. As we see now, actually, a frozen gauntlet, an iceborne gauntlet for Leona, so she's looking to get slows in there with her auto attacks, and that just shows how long this game has been going. If the Leona has 12,600 gold in her pocket and is able to afford an item like that, a huge item really, on top of that Aegis, and she picked up a Cage's Lucky Pig, looking to go for that Twin Shadows in order to slow people down and reveal them, as the red team now setting up a trap here around the red buff. Is the blue team going to step into this?
It doesn't seem likely. Galio stood right in the middle, instantly pops the Idol of during the fight, engages Vayne's already miles off to one side. The fight is not going in favor of the blue team at this stage. Cyclone goes down. Sonya's actually popped at a very weird stage for Fizz right now. Vayne off to one side, actually focusing on poking down Thresh. Not really the best way. Actually, as Leona falls, support's slowly dying basically. Very, very low. The red team are trying to fall back, I think. Jarvan is getting taken very low, but he's probably going to fall to Fizz as he goes over the wall, making it a 3. No. Fizz dives Corki under his tower, pops the Guardian Angel, then instantly pops him with that Urchin Strike.
This
Orianna
will probably...
also dies.
And now it's a 4-for-1 exchange. Only Leona dead on the red team. They still have so much damage out there. Wukong under the tower gets his Guardian Angel pop, but it does not even matter. The bottom inhibitor is dead. Lee Sin may go down to the tower here. No, he survives. And I'm not sure what the red team is doing here. They were focusing so hard on that one kill. Instead, they could be ending this game right now. It should be over after this fight. There are still 15 seconds until Thresh, and then another 15 seconds, a total of 30 seconds on Jarvan, the only person that can really do anything to the red team. They could be finishing this game, but it looks like they're still hesitant. Wukong tanking up the tower, Vayne trying to take inhibitor number 3 down, Lee Sin pushing out the bot wave. Not sure, there's maybe a little lack of communication here. They could be ending the game already. Fizz trying to dive.
Falling through that hook on from Thresh on the base laser. Wukong incredibly low, but Vayne is also present, so this Nexus is very likely to fall. The cycle actually goes down. They're taking a little tea break to kill Thresh before the game ends.
GG, well played. Wow, it's a 57-minute game. 57 minutes, 57 seconds, as the gold in the end finally snowballed a little bit in favor of the red team, but it was so close for really the majority of that game. It was just a tiny little misstep. It was basically 2 team fights, or that one team fight actually, that went so horribly wrong for the blue team that allowed the red team then to pick up the Baron and really go for the game-winning push after that. Beautifully played by both teams, very, very close, and it's a shame the blue team made those mistakes, but mistakes happen.
Yep, most champions on full build this stage. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens when you let a game go to 57 minutes.
Fizz and Wukong and Vayne, such terrors. Lee Sin falling off a little bit towards the late game, but he made good use, helped out his teammate, and Leona just got scarier and scarier as well. Very nice engage abilities there. And Overall, I would say that the red team definitely had the advantage for the late game, which is why I also believe that they actually came out ahead in some of these late game team fights. There was not enough focus on Vayne. Vayne being so terrifying if she's left alone towards the end of a game. Fizz, just one of these very, very strong snowball champions that can 100-0 carries at the mid to late stages of a game, and he did what he came to do. He wrecked people. He caught at Corki several times, and it was really just terrible things happening for the blue team time and again, and they couldn't stop those terrible things from happening. So slowly but surely the red team grabbed the advantages, and then after a single one team fight for them, picked up the Baron and pushed the game to an end. Went on pretty long though.
To go to Wukong into this game though. I have to give an honourable mention to Wukong. He finished the game 9-3. His deaths are more than half that of any other champion in the game. He had 17 assists, 2 less than Thresh, 4 or 5 less than Jarvan. But the fact that he died so little, and that he was constantly there in teamfights as that terror factor of the decoy Nimbus Cyclone that was knocking up 3 people in almost every fight, that was allowing the blue team, they were panicking maybe slightly. It was later fights. It was like, oh my god, Wukong's on my face. Oh my god, Fizz is on my face. Vayne's just sitting in the back going, don't mind me, guys. I'm just going to slowly whittle down your health bars.
Yes, definitely. Wukong putting on a great show here. Really, Galio didn't have enough to contain him in the early stages of the game, and then Wukong just got more and more powerful. The Lee Sin ganks, of course, crucial for that top lane. The kick, time and again, interrupting the idol of Durand, making such a huge impact, and the bot lane really not able to snowball heavily enough in Corki's favor, even though they did have the big early game advantage and carried that advantage through most of the game. But at some point Vayne was able to pick up the farm advantage, and then slowly but surely just got more and more threatening, more and more powerful, picked up a couple of kills for herself, and even though her deaths are more than her kills, she's 5-7, she was able to do so much damage in every single one of these late game fights. If I actually go to the graph and do damage dealt to champions, Vayne actually behind Wukong, which surprises me a bit, and Vayne just barely behind Corki, only by 900 damage, and that's at that point basically negligible. But Wukong actually 5,000 damage ahead of anyone else. He's really been the big threat in this game, as you mentioned before. He deserves his honorable mention. Alright, thank you very much for watching. You wanted to say something more?
I was going to make a very, very nasty pun actually, just to finish off the show. Looking at Fizz and Orianna, the difference in the damage was quite literally over 9,000.
Beautiful. Yes, it was around 12,000. Yeah, that's fine. Nobody cares. Anyway, thanks for watching. It was a lot of fun for me, hopefully for you as well, as we will be back some other day to do more of this.
We'd better be. That was so much fun. Yeah.
Alright.
I think I need a break.
So do I. My throat is getting hoarse after 50 minutes of game time, almost 60.
Oh, wow.